Before the break, we were discussing the latest in the Stormy Daniels case, the impact a new ruling could have on other cases regarding the president's accusers. And I want to bring back attorney Gloria Allred, who represents Jessica Drake, one of the accusers of the president, as well as other women as well. So, Gloria, we mentioned this ruling this week, a judge denying Stormy Daniels' request to depose the president and his attorney, Michael Cohen, under oath. Has that impacted your strategy in your cases going forward?
Well, I represent Jessica Drake, and Jessica Drake does not have a case going forward, but neither does she have a non-disclosure agreement, because she's never made any kind of settlement with President Trump in reference to her allegations against him that she made prior to the election.
So let me just bring up those allegations. She's accused Trump of grabbing her, kissing her, offering her $10,000 for sex. This was a decade ago. You said she doesn't have a case going forward, so she's just put all of that to rest.
I wouldn't say that she's put it all to rest, but I will say that she has not filed a lawsuit, and nor has she entered into a settlement with him. It may be that soon she will decide to tell all of the details about what she encountered. She is a person who is listed in Stormy Daniels' settlement agreement with the Shell Corporation and with, it appears, President Trump. She lists Jessica as a person to whom she provided confidential information, in other words, about what she alleges was her relationship with President Trump. But since she's not a party to Stormy's agreement, in fact, didn't even know until recently that her name was listed there, she is free to talk about what she knows.
Okay, let me ask you about another case. You're no longer representing former Apprentice contestant Summer Zervos, who has accused the president of unwanted kissing and groping. Zervos released a statement yesterday saying, quote, "I decided to part ways with Gloria Allred purely for personal reasons having nothing to do with her work as my attorney. I look forward to having my day in court with my current legal team." So, Gloria, what is the real story behind that?
Well, all I can say is that I wish Summer the very best in her pursuit of justice. I cannot state the reasons for our withdrawal, but I think what is really important and has not been discussed publicly is this very important decision and victory that we won in the case of Summer Zervos versus Donald Trump in the Supreme Court in New York, Manhattan Supreme Court, wherein Judge Jennifer Schechter wrote a very, very important and well-reasoned and thoughtful decision denying President Trump's motion to dismiss this case. And she also denied President Trump's request to stay the case, to put it in abeyance until he completes his term as President of the United States. This is a defamation case, and Judge Schechter cited the case of Paula Jones versus President Clinton, wherein the United States Supreme Court argued that and decided that no man is above the law, including the President of the United States, for unofficial acts. Certainly, a defamation case is an unofficial act. That's what Summer Zervos is pursuing. And the court allowed her to proceed with her defamation case, which is very important. As far as we know, this is the first case, perhaps the only case, involving a lawsuit against President Trump for defamation filed in state court. And the court has allowed this to proceed and is not going to stay this case from proceeding.
Just a quick follow on that, Gloria. Do you think because of that ruling, it is going to empower potentially other women to take the same path as Summer Zervos, other accusers of the president? We know there are more than a dozen now.
Yeah, I do also represent other accusers of President Trump, but at this point, we have no lawsuit pending or filed, and at this point, we don't have any plans to file a lawsuit for the individuals that we represent, because that is not what they intend to do, at least at this point.
Okay. Gloria, stick around because there's another big case I want to ask you about here in just a moment. Jury selection is back. Attorney Gloria Allred now, who is representing 33 of Bill Cosby's accusers. So, Gloria, the jury for this retrial is interesting. It's going to come from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. That's where Bill Cosby is the hometown boy who achieved amazing success. Do you think that will help him?
Well, it's difficult to say. In the first trial, which I attended, it appeared that the defense did not want jurors from Montgomery County, and in fact, they moved to have jurors from the Pittsburgh area instead. Now there's a new defense team, and now apparently they're just fine with jurors from Montgomery County, where they didn't want jurors previously. I might add, as to the 5 prior bad act witnesses that the prosecution wanted to call, that the court has now permitted them to call, I do represent the majority of those potential prior bad act witnesses. And I said at the end of the first trial that I thought it was really important, and that I hoped that the prosecution would renew its motion to allow other accusers, other prior bad act witnesses to testify in the second trial, because in the first trial the court only allowed 1. I represented that 1. I thought she was an excellent prior bad act witness. Having said that, the jury did deadlock, and there was no decision for either acquittal or conviction.
Can I ask you a follow on the bad act witnesses? Because we've heard Janice Dickinson is among the 5. Who are the other women that you represent who've been called to testify as the others?
Well, at this time, I do not feel that it's appropriate for me to name the witnesses who may be called by the prosecution to testify and whom I represent. I have no doubt the defense is well aware of the names, and in addition that I represent them. But
are they names the public would recognize?
Well, I don't know whether the public would recognize them or not. They're not celebrities. They are allegedly victims of Mr. Cosby and accusers of Mr. Cosby, and I believe that they are very brave in their willingness to testify.
I hope we can stay in touch as this trial moves forward. Thank you, Gloria Allred. Good to have you with us. And tune in.